My name is Jenna Leon. This is my audience. Today I will be talking about the decriminalization and legalization of drugs. Today, drugs affect thousands of people's lives every single day. What if I told you that the government is actually thinking about decriminalizing and possibly legalizing all of these hard drugs like marijuana, heroin, cocaine, etc.? Crazy, right? Well, as young students, we're taught in 5th grade by the DARE program that we should never, ever take these drugs. Yet the government is saying that they want to decriminalize and legalize it. That doesn't make any sense. According to our class, there's about a 50-50 response to this topic. About half of the students are against this, with the exception of marijuana, and then the other half thinks that it's a good idea, but with some concern. Like any risky behavior, there need to be reform and guidelines. I think this is a great idea. In this speech, I will be defining what decriminalization and legalization means, the effects, and possible solutions. Now, what does decriminalization mean? Decriminalization means that there will be no penalties for the possession or use of drugs. There will be no penalties for low-level drug sales, and there will be no consequences for the possession of any equipment used to put drugs into your body, such as bongs, syringes, or pens. Now, decriminalization aims to decrease the stigma around drugs, create a better environment for recovery, and provide better regulation of drugs. Legalization means that all drugs will be considered legal substances. According to the FBI, from a 2019 survey, 86.7% of all drug violations were from possession. 13.3% are from the manufacturing and the sale of drugs. Now, with these charges, your sentencing can be from 2 days to 20 years in prison, depending on the state that you live in. Research has shown that arresting people for drug violations has no correlation with lower drug use or reducing IDUs, which also means injection drug users. According to Dr. Friedman's study at Columbia University in New York, in linear mixed effects regression, hard drug-related arrest rates were positively associated with the population rate of IDUs in 1992 and were not associated with a change in the IDU rates over time. He also concluded in his study that deterrence-based approaches to reducing drug use seems not to reduce IDU prevalence. In fact, even the National Drug Control Policy released data showing that more than 10% of Americans have recently used an illegal drug. In another study by the PEW, they state higher rates of drug imprisonment did not translate into lower rates of drug use, arrests, or overdose deaths. The evidence strongly suggests that policymakers should pursue alternative strategies that research shows work better and cost less. To try and combat this in the United States, in November of 2020, Oregon became the first state to decriminalize all drugs. This became a huge nationwide topic. Now, what led Oregon to this? In 2001, Portugal became the first country to decriminalize all drugs. Since 2001, they have seen lower death rates among people who use drugs. In 2019, data shows that there are only 6 deaths per million related to drug use, which is below the average for European countries of 23.7 deaths per million. There was also a decrease in imprisonment for drug-related crimes. In 2001, over 40% of their inmates were in there from a drug-related crime. However, in 2019, this was reduced to 15.7% for the same exact crimes. Now, wouldn't this lead to worsening drug problems? No. According to research, only about 90% of individual cases were shown to have unproblematic drug usage and no drug dependency. Along with lower rates of drug dependency, Portugal has seen lower rates of HIV cases, hepatitis B, and C cases. In order for this to happen, they have also been supplying roughly 1.3 million clean syringes and needles to people. This is an effect of decriminalizing drugs. Now, what would make this better? According to specialists in the US, there needs to be additional regulation and reform before this becomes a nationwide thing in the US. Some solutions for this would be using the same model that is being used right now for CBD and for medical marijuana stores. Another solution would be to get better rehab programs. Some examples of these programs would be in Switzerland, Sweden, the Netherlands, or Germany. Now, these rehab programs have done an amazing job with creating a great environment and a great recovery process for drug addicts. Not only do they focus on long-term, but they also focus on the short-term. Instead of releasing the drug addicts into the same environment, they actively help to get these people out of the environment that causes these problems. Now, to recap everything that I've just said, decriminalization and legalization can lead to lower dependency rates, decreases in HIV/AIDS, hepatitis B and C cases, lower incarceration rates, destigmatization of the problems that drugs cause, and a safer environment for drug use. With all of these solutions, this is going to help drug addicts seek the help that they need and also keep everyone safe. Thank you.